Okay guys, we are here at Goods for the Woods and the bow is gone. I have upgraded and sneak around over here. So, and alas, this is what we moved up to. We got Prime Bow CT5. Rolling with this year. And we got Byron. And Byron's gonna be working on my boat. Byron is the bow tech here, so he's gonna be fixing up the bow. He's gonna get it set up and everything. So bow whiz over here.
Sometimes. De-accessorizing the hoyt. I'm gonna flip all this stuff over to the Prime. Hopefully get Josh shooting some X's with it. So we're gonna set this one on for you.
70. We'll just do 70 because that's the max, isn't it? 70. Yeah.
Yep. This one is actually a 73 pound max.
Oh, okay.
Prime
Cool.
puts a little thing right here after the serial number that shows what the bow actually maxes on.
73.
This one's 73.
All right. Well, we'll push for 73.
Little thing Prime does, they test them all at the factory and tell you, because every bow's different, what draw weight it comes in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
They actually tell you what the bow is drawing when they sent it out. So the first thing I do on the Primes, most important step, they send a little brass knocking point. This is the center of the bow right here. Most important thing when tuning a Prime is setting your D-loop around this and putting your arrow nock right under it. Because then we're right level with the burger button. And that is the most efficient place for a Prime to be set at. If you're above or below, you're not going to get a good broadhead or bare shaft tune. So yeah, just a little tip there. Keep everything right in the middle. They measure them at the factory and that's where it needs to be at.
Awesome.
You have an arrow on you, Josh?
Yeah, there should be one over here. See, that's why that Byron works on it. See, most of that stuff I don't know. I'm still in training. Eventually, I'll get it all down. But this is a real nice place, guys. If you guys have never been here, our followers on there, this place is located in Cortez, Colorado. And it's just right on the, what was the highway coming out?
491.
It's on 491 going towards Dove Creek. And it is right on the south side before the Maverick. And it kind of goes downhill on the back side. So, yep. You guys ever get a chance, come by here. It's really nice. Show you again. There's like bows all over the wall. There's arrows up there. Whole selection of bows over there. New bows, old bows. There's targets right there. And they got the indoor archery range right over there. So you can shoot. They do winter archery leagues, right?
Yeah,
Do archery leagues.
Started up.
And it's just a lot of good stuff. And there's not just bows, there's guns, handguns, everything right up in there, guys. So I mean, if you guys are ever swinging by, come in here, you can see Byron freaking whiz at the bow. Seth is up there, get you squared away with handguns, rifles, everything. So, and then down on this wall you got like your stabilizers, broadheads, and everything down that way. So yeah, it's a nice place. Just come in here and ask for Byron. Get you all squared away.
Yeah, come see me. We've got a 3D course in the summertime outside. A lot of people come in on Saturdays and shoot. Everybody's day off, they come in and practice up for our league. We have over 60 shooters signed up in league this year. Pretty cool to see that. Went ahead and took that brass knock point off, and then just tightening this D-loop up. I like to get everything squared away on the rest. That's my first step of tuning a bow. Get everything squared away on the rest, because that's the most important part, getting good flight out of your bow. And then worry about sighting it in and all that stuff later. I use some old methods. I kind of just eyeball it. But whatever works for you. You can use all the lasers and all that technology and levels if you want to. I'm a little more old school. We're shooting a heavy arrow out of here.
Oh yeah, I'm shooting those extortions. 340s.
How many grains are they?
I think it was 550. 550, I think, is what we're getting out. Because they're, what, 12.3?
Yeah.
And they're cut to, I want to say 29 and a half, I think is what they're cut to.
I think Josh is going to go moose hunting. It's a heavy arrow.
Just like those blow-throughs, make sure I get good penetration. That's what I'm worried about. I've always been about speed, but this year I'm leaning more towards FOC now. So those extortions, I don't know. I might go back to the FMJs and do a brass insert.
Oh yeah.
Instead, get the same weight but have a lot of FOC up at the front.
That's what it's all about.
Or I might do the Axis. I heard that people have been doing pretty good with the Axis with the 75 grain brass in the front.
I've been selling a lot of Axis match grade, and you get the 1/1000 straightness.
So it's a lot stiffer.
Yeah. A lot straighter too. The FMJs.
They're 0.3, aren't they? The extortions are 0.6.
0.6. You get a little bit straighter, and then you can play with your point weight.
Yeah, that's
Another
true.
cool thing that Prime did is put oversized axle stops in here, so you don't have to wrap your cable or your limb-driven drop away around your limb anymore. You can wrap it right around this axle post. So that's something really cool that Prime did.
Nice.
A lot of people ask me why they're so oversized here. And it's all so you can just go top or bottom, left or right limb on your drop away. See if I can tie a knot today. Just do a simple overhand. Just keep that rolling behind. Pull that down. I like doing 3 overhand knots. Never had one come loose yet. Knock on wood.
I don't want to be the first one.
We'll try. So yeah, that's what my knots look like. It's super simple. I don't get too fancy with setting those up. I just like stuff that works. The more simple, the better. I've had a lot of high-tech fancy stuff fail in testing, so I like to keep it simple. See if we can burn Josh's limb here. Always burn my knots in. Hit it with the back side of that lighter, that cold steel. Gets a nice burn end on there. Try not to burn your knot. Get that nice melted end on there. Clean it up just a little bit. Get it looking pretty for the 3D shoots.
For the 3D, looking pretty. I'll take 12 rings over pretty any day.
Oh yeah. 3D's the fashion show of archery, man. It's all about looks at the 3D shoots. Doesn't matter if you shoot good if you look good.
Right.
That's my motto when I'm shooting bad anyway.
He missed it, but then that bow's nice. He all right.
Man, that bow looks good. Shoot fives all day long, it doesn't matter.
Looks like, but that bow looks like he's got potential. Not the shooter, but the bow. Dig.
All about the jersey, man. All about your shoes.
That's funny. These guys been giving me crap about my shoes since I came in.
He's a hot rod, man. This guy.
I'm going around rocking the retro 11s and Byron and chain and giving me.
Ferrari is a person, it's Josh today.
Oh, that's funny.
Alright. So first thing I do after I set the rest up is I shoot it through paper. Before I put the rest on, anything else, because if something is off with this bow, I want to know first off, so then when I press it, I can either change the timing a little bit on it. Prime has different size shims on the sides of their cams. They're 31 thousandths different. So if you have a little bit of tear, you can switch this shim to this side, clean that tear up. You can do that top and bottom. So doing this first gives me some more options later on tuning. So that's why I do it that way. Just a little simpler. Shooting the thumb. True ball. Good old trusty. Back here is the tuning range. Been doing a lot of paper tuning lately, as you can see.
Holy smokes, dude.
Probably need to put a new piece of paper up sometime.
Right.
Maybe next week. Nice prime back wall. Let's check it out. That's the typical prime bullet hole on the first shot.
Wow. It's freaking money. It's like a little high, but shit than that, it's like
anyway.
nothing.
That's as close as you want to be on a paper tune. That's just to set your rest. And if you want that exact tune, I like to bear shaft tune a lot, French walk back, broadhead tune. There's a lot of ways to tune a bow, but that's going to get you close right there off the bat for sure. That's the cool part about prime. You can just throw a rest on them, shoot a bullet hole. Even a whisker biscuit.
Right? Whisker biscuit.
We poke fun at them, but they're actually pretty good rests. And I just kind of throw everything else on. When I get to the sight, I'll throw the sight in and then the peep sight after that. Tie the peep in, all that good stuff.
Gotcha.
But as far as the sight goes, I'll set it and do the second and third axis, get that all set up so he's leveled out before he ever starts shooting. If you don't set your second axis, your third axis, you'll be right on at 20, and you might move back to like 50 yards, and it'll be hitting a foot left, a foot right. Super important to get all that set up on your sight. You'll still be just chasing them around all day.
I think I'm gonna get a crossover stave for that instead of that camo one.
Yeah.
That crossover stabilizer looks really nice.
You gotta go with the equivalizer, man.
I know, I was thinking about equivalizer. I was thinking it's either the crossover or the equivalizer. I was like, dang, equivalizer looks nice.
I was shooting equivalizer on my prime last year, or my hoyt last year.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah?
I didn't like it at first,
Mm-hmm.
but it kind of grew on me.
Oh, yeah?
It's a good setup. Super balanced.
Dang.
It's the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah, does it cut a lot of weight? Carrying an extra weight?
Yeah.
That other carrying in a quiver
It's just
too?
more simple. The less pieces you have on the bow, the more simple it is. The less is going to go wrong in the woods. You do a lot of backpacking,
Mm-hmm.
like I do. You know, going deep in the woods after elk. The less parts you have on your bow, the better off you are, I think.
Yeah, I was debating about that. I was like, I wonder if I should do equivalizer.
Plus, it just sounds cool. Equivalizer.
Equivalizer. What you got? I got equivalizer.
That's another fashion statement right there.
Oh man, that guy rocking it hard. He got equivalizer.
Yeah, equivalizer actually. I tested it. I didn't think I was gonna like it. Shot a few 3D rounds last year. Had an 80-pound Hoyt Helix Ultra Cam Haynes edition. I was rocking it with that bow. Shooting good. You gotta have one of these if you're gonna tune bows. 4-foot level. So I put it in the vise. Stick my level on the bow, just against the limbs on the left side of a right-hand bow, the right side of a left-hand bow. Because this is the side of the limbs that are always level with the world right here. Just get that and then look at your bubble. Not gonna have to do anything on this one, it's perfect. Your second, third axis is all good.
Sweet.
The bubble's on, that's our second axis. That's gonna get you hitting the same at 20 yards and 70 yards.
Just kind of twist it to the right a little bit.
Yeah. This level, this vise isn't very good. Right there's where we were, leveled. But yeah, just get something to stabilize your bow, and then throw that level on the side.
Yeah.
Get it on there.
Sweet.
And then if you did need to change it, just these two screws right here. You rotate the screen cap that the bubble's attached to.
And we'll get, okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Another thing is getting your pins, making sure your pins are aligned with your string. So I always just look at my string line and make sure the pins are running perfectly lateral with my string. Because if your pins are tilted one way or another, it's going to throw you off too. So that's another part of setting your second axis, just making sure your pins are in a straight line with your string right here. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Super easy to do. If you did need to change your pin alignment, it's these two screws on this black gold right here. Most bows have second axis adjustment. Just loosen those and you can tilt your pins and then move your bubble to where your pins are. Get everything leveled out on that. Super important.
Awesome.
See you guys. Have a good day. What color peep sight we going?
Well, we're gonna do purple strings, so I'm not sure. Maybe green.
Okay. You want to throw a glow peep in or go with the regular?
A glow peep.
I've got
Yeah,
those rad glow peeps.
Oh yeah, dude, that sounds dope. Yeah.
If you're night shooting, you can light it up.
Dang, huh? Can't run from me.
Sometimes, like Total Archery Challenge, they'll have the night shoots, the coon
Yeah.
shoots.
They didn't even do that this past year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, last year when we first went, they did. All right, guys, we're gonna get some peep. We're gonna get a peep sight with all their archery wall right here.
I like the rad peeps. They're a little bit smoother than the G5s are, it seems like. If you have to slide it up and down your string a little bit under tension, these will not cut your string or wear it out. So that's why we like those rad peeps. They're just super smoothed out and refined on the inside. Do a really good job. So you thinking a green one?
Yeah. Well, if we're gonna do purple, I'm gonna do purple strings, green.
The Joker setup?
Yeah, I do a Joker setup. That's what I was thinking too.
And if you want a different color in the future, we can just exchange it out
Just
for one.
swap it.
That's the rad glow peep, and we'll go with the 3/16 with his housing size. That's your standard size peep. You can always go smaller or bigger. I like to go a little bit bigger than my housing. That way in low light conditions, you can still see your housing. Do a lot of mule deer ground blind hunting. And if you have a peep sight that's the same size as your housing, super tight, sometimes it'll kind of play heck with you in low light conditions, not able to see your entire ring. So I always like to shoot a bigger peep. Of course, a smaller peep if you're shooting all 3D. A little better for accuracy. That's all my accessories for my new Prime over there.
That's a nice quivalizer.
Straight up. I'm putting a Hoyt sight on there too.
Oh, you're gonna put the Hoyt sight on
Yeah,
there? This is a freaking nice sight.
it's kind of wrong, but they're lightweight. All carbon construction.
Does it have the micro dial on it too, huh?
Yeah, it's all micro adjust, 7-pin. You're gonna borrow your other bow to get your peep sight height here. Something I always check on a bow is the previous bow, if you have one, switching it over. I like to make sure your peep sight's going to be exactly in the same position. Depending on your axle to axle, that sometimes can change. If you're shooting a shorter bow, usually you're going to put the peep sight higher up in the string because of the string angle when you draw back. But these bows are almost exactly the same. As far as the axle to axle, they're 1 inch different.
Because it's a 33 or 34 and a 35? Yeah.
So it should all be the same. And they send a little string separator here. Just pull that out. Perfectly separates the strands and the colors here. Pop that in. Make sure all your strands are in the grooves. And I like to let it down, see where that peep's going to rotate to. It's going to be pretty close there. That'll change once I tie it in also. Having a little more tension on it with the tie-in. You can see we're exact right there. That's going to definitely roll for Josh on this bow. Something not a lot of people do. It's just one of those little things that can make a big difference, is just setting the bow up the same, especially with the restring. I always take the old string, compare it to the new string, set the peep in the same position. The more stuff you can get the same, the easier it's going to be to tune the bow. So it's all in the little details you do with this stuff.
Yep. What other colors you got? That's just straight black, huh?
I've got black. I've got some pink and blue too, and some white.
Ooh.
If you want to go with a different color.
Blue.
There. And I've got a light blue and a dark blue. That light blue is a little thinner material, so it
Oh, the light blue?
grabs the string a little better.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'll do
like
that.
that? Okay.
I like that one.
And you want the normal tie-in above and below, or you want the around locked-in tie-in?
The normal. I like the normal one. It's it held a lot better on my Hoyt.
Okay. I have a couple ways to tie in peep sights. This is just the standard good old way. Just do an overhand knot with a short tail end right here. Long tail end in my left hand. Tighten that down. And then I just start wrapping over my short tail end with the long tail end. And I do about 20 wraps on this side. This stuff's smaller, so I'm going to go 25 wraps. It'll end up being a little bit shorter. You don't have to wrap this super tight. Just wrap to where it looks good. I'm going to just tighten both of those down towards the peep. And I take my long end that we were wrapping with, and I do back wraps over on this side. The same way a lot of people do serving. This is how you're going to back wrap this. And I usually do about the same amount of back wraps, maybe a few less. And what's going to happen, which is really cool, this is the only way you can tie this peep in like this, to get both tag ends to come out at the same point. And your burns are in the same spot. Instead of having a burn down here, a burn over here, It gets both tag ends coming out in the same place, and it self-tightens against itself. So it's a super, super good way to tie in a peep sight, and simple. You can do it on the fly, out in the field if you need to.
That's freaking cool, man. Once the first time I seen it, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you started trying to move the peep, man, the peep was like freaking locked in.
Yeah,
like after a couple
it
of
locks
shots.
them in. You don't have to put one around the peep either.
Yep.
And then you just pull that long tag in back through and start wrapping, bringing all these wraps over to here. You have to be careful with this halo because it's thinner and it'll definitely cut your fingers up. If you do 3 or 4 in a day, start hurting, bleeding all over the place.
Start wearing plastic covers on your fingers.
Wear some good old tape on there.
Yeah.
And you just grab that long tag end, pull that tight, slide it down. There's your peep tie in. What I like to do is I get a little Allen wrench. Most of your QAD rests come with these. They're little short Allen wrenches. Super awesome tools. Wrap tag ends around both Allen wrenches here. Maybe. And then pull, and it self-tightens against itself. That's locked on. You literally have to cut that off of there. Especially with this material.
Good thing Prime will send me another set of strings in 2 years.
Every 2 years.
I'm gonna get a new set of strings here in a bit soon.
And put some piranhas on there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do some piranhas instead of vapor trail. I was thinking about grabbing some vapor trails again, but I was like, no, I'll try some piranha strings.
I lose my lighter like 40 times a day here. You can see both tail ends come out at the same exact point. And you just hit those with your lighter. Try not to burn Josh's new bowstring here. He might be mad. That's your tie-in. Super easy. Works out super good.
Awesome.
You have to have like a rope or something to tie around here and drag that down. I just made out of D-loop material, little loop, just like that. Wrap that around, feed this tail end through the hole, pop that through. And you literally have to do that to get this tie-in to move down. There we go. So you can see how tight it is.
Freaking awesome. Dang, that's all heavy duty.
His peep's not going to be falling out this year.
Alright guys, so we're going to let Byron tie in this other side, and then we'll get into looking at the site and tuning from there. Yep. Checking it out, just getting
it sighted in. Should be a pretty quick process on this guy.
So he's just gonna finish the same tie just like he did on the other side, and then we'll get right back at you guys. All right, guys, we'll see ya. Awesome. So now we got the chrono set up. We're gonna try the bow. Gonna bust it out and see where we're shooting at. I'll check the draw weight.
This is a 29.5-inch draw. Coming just over 70 pounds.
It's right at 70.
Right at 70?
Yeah.
Perfect. We're gonna shoot this 535 grain arrow through it.
There. 535.
See what we're getting here. You want to shoot it, Josh?
Huh? Yeah, I'll shoot. I'm gonna struggle. Yeah. I think I'll work with that. What? Okay. Cool.
Get this chronograph turned on for you.
Dude, that thing's like freaking dead on. It's like not even rotating anywhere, man.
Is that still? You're still recording?
Yeah, it's on. It's just
cool.
There you go.
Let's go. Good. All right. Here's Josh, 70-pound prime, 535 grain arrow.
Look at that back wall.
I can love that valley.
264. Not bad. Not bad for a heavy arrow.
Yeah, not bad for 535.
Not bad at all. That's probably throwing down 90 to 95 pounds of kinetic
You
energy.
got like that much penetration with it right there. That is sick.
It's throwing down a lot of foot-pounds for sure. And that's one thing Prime does really well, is shoot a heavy arrow fast. That quad cam, there's a little bit more mass to throw that arrow a little bit faster. It doesn't slow down as easily.
It's freaking nice, dude. Just like destroyed it. Well, 264 is where we're at now.
Yeah, 264.
That's nice.
So now all we got to do, we're pretty much tuned up as far as paper goes. Next thing to do is just sight it in.
Awesome.
Get it shooting darts for you. Get you hitting the X-ring every time.
Right? Dude, it's freaking nice. 264.
That's probably around 90 to 95 foot-pounds. Super good for elk, moose, all that good stuff.
Just blast through it. Awesome. Sweet.
Saturday afternoon, all the folks coming in to shoot their bows, getting ready for league.
I forgot to jump into league too. I've seen the paper for it. I totally spaced it. To come back down.
I've only been going for a week now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, this was the first week this week. Yeah, you want to go throw a few?
Let me take a...
See if we're on the target or not.
Oh yeah.
You remember what your hoyt was shooting?
About 260. Well, no, with these one I think it was like 250.
Okay, so we gained a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
Maybe about 15 feet per second. We'll gain another 5 when we... Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll gain another 5 feet per second with the piranha string.
We went up 10? We went up 10 feet per second, huh?
Yeah,
From just 60 to 70.
yep.
I gotta change that, or to like color it all black. I don't like it. It's time for equalizer.
Josh isn't winning the fashion show with that stabilizer.
No, it's so off. Different colors.
Those shoes make it all worthwhile, though. Doesn't matter what color the bow is when you got shoes like that.
They're like, you're worried about the bow?
The elk and deer do not care what color your bow is, by the way.
Right? They don't care what color you have, right?
All the pros are in here shooting today. Got all the unlimited setups. That's a Prime CT5 right there. Left hand. There's a nice PSC over on that side. Freestyle. Another PSC.
You guys mind? Go ahead. Okay, alright. Yeah, because we have a channel that's so we're doing a bow build with a CT5. So we're making a video to post it up.
So the first target's the swinging target, right?
Yeah.
Right? With the blindfold on.
Primes shoot themselves. You don't even have to shoot it. There's a swinging target right down there. Gonna come around. Oh man. Epic fail. Gonna see the first shot. If you want to go for target 7.
Yeah.
See where the sight's at compared to the Hoyt. First shot, sighting in with the Prime CT5. Bottom of the paper. Just have to drop that sight down a bit. Primes shoot a little lower sight than other bows. Their grip is actually 2 inches higher in the bow. So that makes the sight shoot a little bit lower. So that's the norm with a prime. They just shoot a little lower than most other brands.
You have to drop the whole housing down, huh?
Yeah.
No.
There's Allen. Allen the Allen wrench.
If you know a guy when you're bow hunting, you just gotta have his Allen.
Yep. Always take Allen with you, no matter what. He's your best friend. Stuff happens in the woods all the time too. Fall on your sight. Josh is a pro at moving his sight.
Because I've been moving it way too much. How far down?
Look at that. Just at the bottom of the paper, about 8 inches. Josh, king of the eyeball.
I've been actually okay pretty once or twice.
I'm gonna grab a zero down here. Not bad left and right.
Yeah, not bad.
Shooting good. Went into the target straight.
Dude, it seems just like
It's burying them.
buried.
Got to use 2 hands on that one.
My old bow is just a one-hander. It's easy to pull with just one hand.
The one hand Hoyt.
One hand hoist, two-hand prime now.
Quad cams, more hands.
Right?
See how good Josh is here. Better be money. Oh, not even close.
I put it up like 3 levels.
At the bottom of the white still. Maybe we overestimated Josh's ability here.
A little too much.
Always use big movements when you're sighting in. If you're a long ways off, use big movements and then small movements to dial it on in. That way it's a little bit faster to get sighted in. A lot of people use these little small movements when they're 3 feet off the target.
I moved up like, I moved up 3 levels, so that's when I did another 3 again.
Here's our 300 wall right here. That's my 299 with recurve, Olympic style recurve. A couple more 300s there. People add to it all the time. Had one last week.
I freaking like this. This indoor archery is dope, guys. Okay, round 2.
See where we're at. How you like that back wall?
I freaking love that back wall.
Just below the yellow, pretty close.
You can't even turn the TV on. You can't turn the TV on to turn on. You can't. Smokes. You can't walk close to it.
It's, if you think about it, the grip's 2 inches higher, so you have to move your sight 2 inches lower.
It's a long ways off.
Just in the red, just below it.
You are. I'll cut the word. Yes.
Except he wants to take the last half of it and put all the garbage in. I don't know what it's called.
This is
You feeling it?
I think I'm feeling yellow right now. I'm feeling yellowish.
Josh likes shooting a extremely unique fletching design.
Oh yeah.
4 different colored heats.
You gotta make sure you can see the arrow.
You guys go ahead and shoot if you want.
Yeah, you guys can shoot. I'll just make you all sign a waiver.
Make everybody famous.
Over to
You
9.
still make me look bad, guys.
You can shoot between tie and a.
Just in the left red. See what kind of group we get anyway.
Yeah.
Got a yellow.
I think that might have just been a flyer.
Another left in the red. Another yellow. Looks like we're pretty close sighted in. Just got to fine tune it from here. Just hang out a little bit on the left hand side.
I think it's the way I was holding it.
Josh is shooting it for 85.
This whole time.
Bottom of the yellow. Pretty close.
Harder training is shooting when you don't want
A little bit low and right. Pretty close though. Just getting used to that prime back wall. Takes a few shots, especially if you're used to a spongier back wall bow. Getting used to that prime with the lens stop. Nice shot, dead center. You can even put cable stops in this bow if it's uncomfortable to shoot. And if you're used to a Hoyt with the cable stops, a little bit more sponge in the back wall, you can always put the cable stops on this bow. Make it a little spongier on the back. Nice, 2 shots dead center in a row right there.
Money.
Money in the
I think
bank.
it's set up now. But thanks guys for following along. This is the 2019 Prime CT5 and we're here at Goods for the Woods here in Cortez, Colorado. So if you guys want to see, come get your bow set up. You can see Byron. So they have a winter archery league. Everybody here is shooting. Everybody gets together. This is an awesome place to be. So, but yeah, this is it for Stone Arrow Outdoors. See you later. Bye.